So in this exercise, which is very hard, we're gonna be in a push-up position or a tall plank position, which is here. The kettlebell I have on a towel so I don't scratch up my hardwood. At home, if you're in a gym, you can use a slider. At home, this is a great option, or putting a slider on it. Now the key when you're in that tall plank position is you wanna reach underneath your arms, grab the kettlebell and pull it through. The further the kettlebell comes away from you, the harder it's gonna be. So if I started it and we just made it very close to me, this is a lot easier than, say, me dragging it all the way over there, because now I have to push it. Now, when I go and get it, I don't want my hips moving everywhere. Your goal is that you stay nice and solid and you're reaching and your core is in control. You may be moving with the movements coming from your shoulders reaching, not from your hips turning the entire time. So again, hips stay square to the ground. I may turn my shoulders to get there, but my hips are staying nice and still. You're gonna notice that I'm very wide with my feet too. Being wide is gonna be a lot easier than being over here.
For this exercise, you want to make sure the starting position is like this, where your feet, knees, hips, and shoulders are all stacked up in line. Now in this position, stay strong in the shoulder blade also. With this hand, you're going to reach towards the back wall. See how I'm rotating as far as you can, and then come back up. You're going to use a lot of core to come back up, and then with the hand, reach the thumb towards the back wall, as far as you feel comfortable, and then come back and forth. Reach. Come back up, and then thumb back. You want to make sure to move slow and controlled throughout this exercise.
So I'm doing leg lowering exercises, which are gonna work the core muscles in front, especially your lower abdominals. Now the big key, a lot of times it's much easier to put your hands on your hips. This is gonna force your hips to be what's called an anterior pelvic tilt. It's gonna help you turn on your core muscles. The big key is as your legs go lower, it gets harder and harder on your stomach muscles to control. There's gonna become a point in time, if you're not strong enough, that eventually your hips are gonna move and your back is gonna arch. We wanna avoid that position. So you wanna keep your stomach muscles on the whole time. If you're able to control it the entire way, great. If not, there may be a point, like for example, say it's right here and I start to arc, well then I'm not gonna go that far. I'm gonna keep myself here and my range of motion for the exercise is only gonna be here and I'm not gonna go further than that. So again, the biggest thing to keep watch of is this motion in the back as it becomes too hard for my stomach muscles. I want to keep them locked in and only go as far as I'm able to control.
So this is a modified side plank with isotonic leg lifts performing hip abduction. The most important thing to perform this exercise is the starting position. So we have to get our elbow under our shoulder if we're performing the leg lifts on the left side. We're gonna have both knees bent and our hip bent at like this 45-degree angle. So not the knees too high, not the knees too low. In order to get set up off the ground, you need to push into the ground with your right knee to lift your hips high and forward. You have to stay strong through this right shoulder while maintaining this position. Now you're just going to keep your left leg straight, lift up towards the ceiling, feel the muscles in the back of the hip and on the side of the hip working, and repeat. It's really important that you don't rotate your hips forward, rotate them down. Try to stay facing this direction, perpendicular to the ground as you perform the leg lifts. And also keep this hip high and forward, making this right side work really hard as well.
So in these hollow rocks, the first thing you want to get is actually the hollow position. So if I have my top and my bottom of my rib cage here, my hips right now, I'm trying to make them go this way. We want to go the opposite way. I want to clinch them down, and that should naturally just bring up the upper part of my back. You should feel your core engaged, your back pressed against the mat. From there, we're going to lift the heels up. This is our hollow position. Once you maintain that hollow position, your goal is to rock back and forth while keeping your stomach engaged the entire time. The big key here is that you don't want to see any shoulder movement but you don't want to see any hip movement initiating that motion. It should be just your stomach keeping a nice solid base here. And once I get going, it's just the stomach doing the work.